everybody. I am just delighted to be with you today. Now, we only have about 25 minutes, so some of this I may run through, but you're always welcome to contact me after the presentation if you have particular questions or if you think of a way that I can help you in the future. Well, as you can see, I have a lot of credentials and certifications behind my name. I am currently a lecturer at Benedictine University in Illinois and in China, in Dalian Medical University in China. So twice a year, I travel there to do courses. And I've headed a lot of organizations. Even worked in corporate America. But really, everybody, I am just an ordinary person who has been so blessed and honored to learn the right things from the right people on how to do my work and how to do it well. So I'm going to skip over this because it'll take a long time to explain. And I'm going to ask you to take a moment to look at this diagram. I'm only going to give you a few seconds, but look at this and tell me how many boxes you see. You can put it in the chat box. How many boxes do you see? Just put it in the chat box. All right, we're starting to the minute is about over. I don't see any in the chat box. How many boxes? Okay, Maddie says 26, Camille 31, Tika, is that it? 40? All right. Well, you know what? Something is missing from this. Does anybody know what's missing? The number is not important, but what is missing? I'll tell you. I didn't tell you to look at just the square boxes or the rectangular boxes or the red boxes or the boxes in boxes. I gave you no clue as to what I was looking for. So what is missing is context. It is important to have context before you do things, before you give a response or reply to someone. Context is ever so important. All right, now. All right, get this over. Okay, so we're going to skip this because you put it in the chat box already. But if you can also put in the chat box one or two of your major challenges to your personal productivity. What are some of the challenges that you face? Okay. Some people say that constant interruptions when they're trying to do their job is a challenge. Others say that it's time. There just aren't enough hours in the day. And still others say that it's because they're not clear. The communication isn't clear on what exactly they need to do. Let's see. Sticking to new habits, having enough mental energy, that's a big one. Prioritizing, absolutely. And the volume of work, sometimes the volume of work can be so overwhelming. You're juggling so many plates, and Lord knows if you drop any of them, you're going to be in deep trouble. So all of these are very valid reasons for the challenges that you face. Let's see. All right. So speaking of context and problems, it is important for you to understand the context of this presentation today. So here's what we're doing. This is our list of objectives. First, we're going to define personal productivity. We're going to look at the benefits of personal productivity. We're going to talk about some of the proven strategies for improving your performance overall and satisfaction with your work, and those that will be helpful for you to have a successful completion of tasks. We're also going to discuss some of the obstacles, some of the challenges that we face in being productive. And then we're going to talk about personal productivity and its importance for work-life balance, so you're not totally burned out at the end of the workday. So here's a definition of personal productivity. Personal productivity is the ability to effectively utilize time, resources, and skills to accomplish tasks and goals, both at work and in your personal life. It involves managing yourself efficiently to achieve maximum output. Now, there are a lot of benefits that come along with this. It's not just that you're saving time, but the benefits are numerous, such as stress is reduced. When you reduce your stress, your blood pressure level goes down. You're not producing as much cortisol in your system. It increases your efficiency because when you when you're productive and organized, you don't have to do things over or explain things again to someone. And in terms of your work-life balance, you have more energy to be with your loved ones or your friends after work. You're not just totally wiped out. Take it from me, I've known that, where I've had to juggle meetings and family members who were ill, who were relying on me, and children all at the same time. And it can be exhausting. But then I started taking various courses on time management and productivity, and I learned the skills to help me keep things prioritized. So time management is a crucial aspect of personal productivity. Why? Because when you're organized, you know the flow, you have peace of mind. You wake up with more energy because you slept better, because you knew what you're going to do the next day, what was waiting for you. And it's a goal crusher. Take it from me. I was a single mom raising a family and determined to go back to school. It took me 10 years to get my first degree and about 10 more to get my my master's. But you know what? I had a sense of accomplishment beyond any others because I had achieved my personal goals. And it's a stress buster too. When you have you manage your time wisely, you have time to meditate. You can think about things that are important to you other than work. You have time to laugh a little and enjoy your hobbies. Now, be careful. If you're a person who keeps a written to-do list, be careful because your list can start out with maybe 8 or 10 things, and by midday or the end of the day, you might have 36. If that has happened to you, raise your hand. But to-do lists to-do lists can multiply like rabbit, and you don't even know it. So now we're going to take a look at what I call a treasure chest of ways to manage that to-do list. And it works, but only if you work it. So here's the treasure chest. Prioritize your tasks, break them down, block your time for what you're going to do certain things, manage your attention span because it's so easily to get distracted and off on conversations and off on different things, and embrace automation. It's a wonderful thing, but it's not the only thing. So let's look at task prioritization. You identify your tasks that need to be done. I do write them on paper just to get started. I like to do that because it shows me visually what I need to do. Uh, and I use that to input information into the virtual calendars that I keep as well. So it's essential to identify the tasks that are urgent and important and those that deserve immediate attention. And I'm going to show you what is called the Eisenhower matrix or ABC analysis to determine priorities and allocate your time. This helps us, when we prioritize, it helps us or keeps us from becoming overwhelmed and ensures that we also stay focused on what matters most for that day. So here's what is called the Eisenhower decision matrix. This was named after the 34th president of the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower, but he was also a General Dwight D. Eisenhower during World War II. And he broke it down to this, that I have two kinds of problems, the urgent and the important. The urgent are not important, and the important are never urgent. So I just thought I'd share that with you. This whole concept is also included in Stephen Covey's book, Seven Habits of Effective People. So anyway, you write out your list, like I said I do, and then you start prioritizing things that are urgent, things that need to be done now. Those I usually put a star next to. Then you think, well, who can help me with this? And if there's anybody that you think you can delegate to or that you can share the task with, then you put that, do a slash mark and put that next to the starred item. The next thing you do is look at those things that are urgent, but they're not important. For those, I usually put a hyphen or minus sign next to. And then some of those, you look at your other pile of things that are not urgent, and you decide and schedule a time to do it. A specific time that you can block off in your calendar to work on that item. And then the next thing you do is you look at this list and say, hey, what's been on here for 3 months? Can I delete it? And if it's not important, it's not urgent, then take it off. Our practice, our practicing on being focused and paying attention is important because in today's world, we have so many distractions coming at us, not only the notifications from our um, uh, computer and our email, but also if you work in an office, you may have people who want to stop by. If you're a manager, sometimes you may have 3 or 4 people waiting to see you at the same time. So it's easy to get distracted. So the challenges of practicing focus in a world full of distractions means that you need to practice listening so that you hear it right the first time. It means that you should sit still and listen to a person if they warrant your full attention. The other thing is I have a clock that I set, old-fashioned analog clock that I set on my desk for phone calls or the casual person that stops by the office. I'll give them 2 minutes. Once that hand has traveled around 2 times, I know I've got to excuse myself or tell them that, listen, this is very interesting. I really have to get back to work. Can we set up a time to chat later? And let them know that I've got to get back to what I was doing. Another way to do it is when you're feeling stressed out and overwhelmed to start counting backwards from 100 till you calm yourself down. Just take a deep breath and start counting. down to 100, back from 100, so that you're more relaxed. Another thing that has been proven to be helpful is to play some music in the background. Soft music in the background, or some of your favorite catalog of your favorite tunes, has been demonstrated in tests to keep you focused and help you remember more. Now, here are some more things. These are called productivity hacks. There's quite a few of them, and I'm going to go through quickly. Number one, plan your day ahead of time. Write down the 3 most important daily tasks. Set specific times to check and reply to your email so you're not constantly going back to the computer or looking on the phone to see what has come in. Maybe you'll devote an hour a day, or 2 hours a day. Maybe it's only between 10 and 2. You give an hour, 10, I'm sorry, 10 and 12, that you will answer emails in the morning, and maybe only an hour or so in the afternoon, say from 3 to 4, that you can focus. Learn to say no. Sometimes you have to say no. No is not a bad word. Sometimes no to you or to others can mean no, not right now, or no, I can't do it at this moment. So don't be afraid of saying no. Use the website blockers to turn off all those notifications. I get 200 to 300 uh, emails a day, and it's a constant thing. And so I have to turn off that email notification. My phone's pinging all day and all night long. Only during certain hours will I even address it. And then for small tasks, employ the 2-minute method, where if it's a little task, devote no more than 2 minutes to it during your day. And you can identify that on your to-do list. Some things only take a couple of minutes. And then avoid multitasking. Multitasking has been shown to be not very productive. You make more mistakes. You leave out things from your work that you should have included, and you do a much poorer job. So learn to avoid multitasking and to stay focused on the task at hand for the amount of time that you've allotted for that. We talked about the important and urgent Eisenhower matrix already. So some people like to start their day with a tough task. But what happens is sometimes the tough task takes longer than you thought, and you'd end up devoting a whole day to that. So you want to choose what works best for you. A lot of people will take, say, the first half hour of the morning just to get rid of those easy 2-minute tasks, get those out of the way. And working in short bursts, even if it's a long task that you're working on, it's so important that you take a break. Take a break at least every 30 minutes just to stretch your legs, change what you're looking at. You don't want eye strain from the computer screen. Just take a break. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, come back more refreshed. And then create a dedicated workspace. Make sure that I don't know if any of you are working from your car or working from the office or wherever you are. Make sure you have that space that is totally yours, where you put your laptop. You can have your phone, your notebooks, your reference materials close at hand. All right. The next one, make sure every task is related to a goal. So every task you have should be tied into a goal, whether it's a goal for the day at work, if it's a personal goal. Follow the deadlines that you've set and that you receive from your managers. When the reports are due or information is due at a certain time, make sure you get it there on or before. Working with clients, it may be a little bit different. You need to emphasize that You want them to get back to me by Tuesday at 2 o'clock at the latest, okay? And then make sure they understand. And then always schedule time for self-care. That's important too. Sometimes we get caught up into all of this and we forget about taking care of ourselves. I've been practicing meditation for about 30 years, where every day I start my day with 15 to 20 minutes of meditation each day, just to get centered, to get settled, and it helps. It really does. And then in the evening, when things are quiet, I schedule another 15, 20 minutes just to breathe, be grateful, be thankful, and be ready to relax for the evening. And then the other thing to do is to let go of perfectionism. So many of us are caught into things it's got to be perfect before we finish it. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you'll drive yourself crazy trying to make it perfect. And there's a joke that I heard once that says, there was only one perfect person, referring to Jesus Christ, if you're a Christian. And you see what happened to him. So anyway, be sure to let go of perfectionism, do it the job, make sure that all the parameters that you set are there, are included, and the goals that you've reached, that you wanted to reach are there, and then let it go. And if there's something missing, something incorrect, be sure someone is going to bring that back to you. They're going to bring it to your attention. Some of the barriers we face: procrastination, lack of focus, interruptions. We're overwhelmed, we're stressed out, lack of planning or motivation. Sometimes you get an assignment and you haven't the slightest interest in completing it. Sometimes it's because of our poor time management. Sometimes there's a lack of boundaries. We're taking on too many responsibilities and we are overwhelmed. We can't do them all. And then perfectionism is another one we talked about, and a lack of delegation. I don't know what your jobs are specifically, but if you're in a leadership role, there may be people that you can kindly ask for help if they're not too busy. And then ineffective communication is another one. Make sure that what you convey to your staff or your patients or whomever your coworkers is complete, that you've included the who, what, where, when, and why, so that they don't have to keep coming back to you confused and asking you more questions that could have been answered in the first place. And in fact, effective communication is one thing, but ineffective communication is another, where you're not clear. People don't understand the context of what you're trying to get them to do, where you don't respond to emails readily. You don't respond to phone calls in a timely fashion. All of those things are ineffective. And sometimes that's because we haven't been really listening. So practice actively listening. And once someone gives you uh, details of what they want or idea of what they want, repeat it back to them to make sure that you understand. In closing, I want to say that personal productivity means staying sane, achieving your goals, and not having, but having the time to enjoy life's little things too. The little things are important. And you should be able to do that without feeling that nagging voice behind you that's saying, I got to do this, I got to get back to that. So be sure that you take time to enjoy those little things too, and have time to enjoy some of the special things that you like to do. And if you embrace 3 or 4 or 5 or all of the strategies I've shared with you today, you'll be well on the road to increasing your personal productivity. You'll be a rock star, as a matter of fact. Just try them and you'll see. And you don't have to sacrifice your sanity to do so, and you don't have to guzzle a gallon of coffee in a day to do it either. So here are some readings that a lot of this discussion were based on today that I hope you will find helpful. Just take a screenshot of them. They're easy reads, quick reads, and I found them to be quite helpful. So that's it. If there are any questions, we can take them in the chat box. You are productivity superstars, and I'm anxious to hear all about your achievements and if any of the suggestions that you've heard today, if any of them are working for you. And if you want to get in touch with me, you can connect with me on any of the social media. These are just a few. LinkedIn, Facebook, Threads, all of those. I used to be on X, but I'm not anymore. So um, I'll be happy to hear from. All right, I think my time is up.
Beth, would it be possible for you to scroll back to the screen with the reading list?
Oh, yes. Okay, is my face in the way? Yeah, they're all really pretty quick reads and easy reads. So they have to be on my to-do list, my to-do reading list. They have to be quick.
So, Beth, another question. I know that you work in 2 continents outside the United States. Have you noticed any productivity positives or tips that you gathered from the Chinese, the Dalian in China and Ghana?
Yes.
Any
What I found,
comparison?
absolutely. What I learned is patience, to be patient. And, Americans tend, we want things right now. We want the information right now. I've learned to be patient from interacting with other cultures. I've also learned that my communication has to be clearer. Sometimes, if it's not a native English speaker, a lot of things can be lost in translation. And so I've learned to speak more slowly. I've also learned to use fewer words. Let's see. One of the other things I've learned is to celebrate the successes when we complete things. Everybody wants to be happy. And if we can bring joy to the people we work with or in completing the things we do, whether it's just bringing in a coffee cake or some fruit that day, something special, and tell everyone thank you, show your gratitude.